What's good, my fellow Destined One? So I'm finally here with the strongest, the best build that breaks Black Myth Wukong in half. Let's get straight into it. I'm not even going to talk about it. I'm just going to show you. So we're standing in front of my favorite training dummy. I mean, our guy Yin Tiger here. And we're going to challenge him. And I'll just let you watch. I'll explain how you do it. And then we'll get straight into it. So first things first. We start things off with a jiggle. We slap down the staff. Then we pluck a couple hairs, throw it at him. Clones come out, freeze them solid to get the extra bonus, and then we go to work. We literally just start hammering this man until his health just disappears. We go into pillar, slap with a long dragon, switch it up. And now that he's practically dead, I'm just going to taunt a little bit with the OG, the original transformation from chapter 1. We killed this man so fast, he didn't even realize he didn't have any more health. That took less than 20 seconds. All right, with that being said, let's do this. So this is the way the build's going to be broken down. First, I'm going to show you exactly how the build works, the pros and the cons. Then I'm going to explain strategies. Next, I'm going to show you all the skills you're going to need, all the armor, gear, Kuros, and absolutely every gourd that you might want to use. And then finally, I'll show you the locations of all these items. If you want to skip to any part of this guide, you can always check the chapter list down below. But you know what time it is. So let's talk strategy. First things first, you have to understand what the Daoist is doing. It throws down a staff somewhere on the battlefield. And when it throws that staff down, that is going to be your area where you're going to be buffed. Now, I'm going to throw the staff right about here in the center. Now, when I throw this staff down, there's a zone that is going to be a safe zone, and then there's going to be a bad zone. Where you see these little particle effects, and a full circumference of that area is going to be the zone that's safe to be in. When you step outside of that zone and step back in, your staff will flash just like that. So I have a different buff on me right now, but when I'm back in the zone, I'm getting both of those buffs at the same time. So that's how you know that your buffs are stacking. The buff that I'm getting out here has something to do with my armor. I'll go ahead and show you that now. This golden embroidered shirt is an amazing set with this because after a short duration of time, when you perform a skill with the spirit or the vessel, you considerably increase your attack. Now, if you get all 4 pieces of the set, upon critical hits and defeats, you grant yourself a small amount of ki over time. And there's a lot of synergy with this build. The thing about Daoist is this thing is going to work for you. If you're looking for something that's just going to slap the enemy with a one shot, then that's not going to be this build. Not like this. You can if you wanted to, but you're going to have to do very specific things in order to do that. What this build is trying to do is it's buffing everything you're good at. So you want to invest in all of your favorite skills and your favorite martial arts to be able to get the most out of this DPS. Stamina is going to be king for you. What you're going to want to do is, if you are really good at dodging in this game, the Vigilant Heart and the Shadow ability, these two right here are going to set you straight. If you want to just bash out and be extremely aggressive, then you want to go into martial arts and you want to make sure you grab all of the focus spinning tree. But if you just want to be kind of conservative and just want to get some good DPS in, then being on the left side of the martial arts spirit tree is going to be good enough for you. You can get the light attack finisher as well as the damage reduction during the light attack finisher to make sure that you have a little bit of survivability when you're being aggressive. You got to make sure you pump everything into your attack and survivability because that's what's going to keep you alive. If you're messing around with a lot of the mobile spinning, then you also want to make sure that you have enough stamina to handle it. And then defense and everything else is, if you need it. Crit is also a part of this build. So the higher your crit chances, the easier it will be for you to get back ki. With all that being explained, let me break it down a little bit into simpler terms. You have this guy here that will disappear over time. It takes about 1 minute and 30 seconds to 1 minute and 45. I haven't timed it to a second just yet. But usually your boss or whoever you're fighting is going to be completely dead before that thing disappears. You want to think about what your boss is doing. If your boss is extremely aggressive, then you might want to go into Immobilization first to freeze them solid and then throw down your buff. Or if your boss is kind of like Yin is and is very passive, then what you could do is you can throw out the Daoist first in a good strategic position and then bait the boss to you. Or you could do what I did here. I knew Yin was going to stand here and he wasn't going to do anything until I attacked him. So I provoked him by putting my buff in the center of the field so I had, a good amount of area where I could fight him in, at which point I came over to his location and baited him into my zone. And then he's dead. It's just that simple. Now, every single thing that's within this little bubble is going to get the buff. So things are going to start slapping extremely hard, extremely fast, which is why when I use the transformation ability and I start slicing through him and I'm in the buff window, then he's going to get melted. There's so much synergy that you can do with this build. It's absolutely insane. And when you combine certain things like your clones with Strand, if you go into Volition, you're practically going to have the game defeat things for you. So let's talk about Strand. This right here is probably one of the most broken parts of the entire build, because tyranny in numbers, when you go ahead and you throw out your clones and you get close to them, you raise their DPS. So you attacking alongside your clones is going to be amazing DPS. You throw out Daoist, who is boosting your DPS. You have this armor here that's boosting your DPS. And then if you use something crazy like the LAAP, the long aura amplification pellet, then you're boosting your DPS for a whole almost 2 minutes and completely destroying absolutely anything that gets in your vicinity. And that's just it. It's all about thinking of a strategy on how you want to take out a boss and doing it. So if you're really good at dodging, then you can dodge yourself all the way up to 3 to 4 focus points and then slap incredibly hard with absolutely any stance that you want. The best thing about Daoist is there's no rules. You create your own rules. So if you want to use smash stance with it or pillar or thrust, is completely up to you. All of these have their own advantages, and you should really lean into what your weapon is good at. My current weapon is good at pillar stance. So I make sure I get 3 to 4 focus points and then I slap with the dragon, they die. The fastest way for me to get to those focus points is going to be for me to be using the spin attack. Golden Loong Staff is an amazing staff in this game. It has a unique effect that moderately increases damage dealt by pillar stance moves. So anytime that I use a pillar stance move, I'm going to completely slap the enemy. But when I execute that with 3 or 4 stacks of focus, then I'm going to instantly pull out a dragon, and it does a considerable amount of damage. There's so many different staffs that I can use with this build, but this one slaps for so much damage, it's kind of hard for me to walk away from it. Now let's go ahead and talk about all this gear we have here. I'm being a little bit flexible with the drip today, so we're doing the See No Evil, more easily triggers perfect dodge. What you could do is you can come over here with the snout mask, and the unique effect on this is for a short duration after using the gourd, you moderately increase your attack. So you can start to see what's happening here. But there's a downside to this. If you're not constantly using your gourd, then you're going to lower your attack. So you might not want to use this unless you know you're going to be constantly chucking those things back. For me, I don't really care, and there's nothing in my inventory right now that's going to really help this build out a lot. But this makes it easier to dodge, so I wear it. Next up, I have the golden embroidered shirt. This, which I already told you before, is because if you wear 2 pieces at a set, then you're going to get that first bonus right there, which the spirit skill or using a vessel considerably increases attack. Now, if I just go for all 4 pieces of the set and go for that second bonus, I can get ki back a lot faster. But you don't necessarily need ki when you're fighting a boss. Now, if you're going from mob to mob on your way to the boss, so you're just exploring out in the open world, then it's probably a great idea for you to have all 4 pieces of the set so you can always have ki up, so you can always put down Daoist. Makes it as simple as that. Make sure that you're using everything in your arsenal. The Wind Tamer is going to save your life. When you need to stun the boss or knock them back or stop them from going into a transformation, then throw that out. that'll instantly save you in a lot of situations and it'll give you a little bit of a window to pull out Daoist even if you need it. The only times you want to be pulling out Daoist is if you actually have an open window to do so. So, Immobilize. You immobilize first, you pull out Daoist. I never cloud step Daoist because as soon as you cloud step and you try to go for Daoist, you're going to instantly be seen and the boss is going to be able to track you and they're going to go straight to you. So it's kind of annoying. Unless I cloud step, leave my decoy over here and then run completely on the opposite side and then throw down Daoist. If I know that that boss doesn't have like a teleportation mechanic, then that's okay. But if that boss teleports, you're going to get smacked up. And if they interrupt you dropping down Daoist, you're taking a huge L. And that's pretty much the entire build. Now, there's transformations in this game that can really make this pop. One of the transformations is going to be this right here, the Umbral Abyss. You're going to get this in chapter 3. And this guy, after you do a specific amount of attacks with it, you're going to build up its special. When you build up its special, you'll be able to use Cold Heart. Cold Heart is going to literally freeze them solid. And at that point, you just destroy their life. I have a freeze build on this channel as well, so if you're interested in freeze, you might want to check that out. You can go ahead and look at that in the description below. There's other transformations that also help with this as well. You can use things like Hoarfrost, or you can use Yin the Tiger himself and really slap the hell out of your enemies. It's completely up to you. You have a whole lot of options. Hoarfrost is able to freeze enemies as well by throwing snow at them. You could just be extremely aggressive with Red Tides, the OG that you get in chapter 1. Ebb and Flow is just completely OP. When you start using this, you probably won't use any other transformation in the game because you have so much guard, you're doing so much damage, and when you load this thing up, you're practically cracking everybody's head. It's kind of insane. Ashen Slumber is really good if you want to do some burn damage or scorch your enemies and then continue to damage them further later on. So it's completely up to you and your playstyle. Or once you finally beat Yellow Long down, you can use the Golden Lining, and at which point, yeah, there's not going to be anything in the game that can kill you because this thing is just kind of ridiculously OP, especially if you get all 3 focus points with it. Like, it literally turns you into the boss and you do the exact same tactic he does to you when he killed you all those times. So that's everything you need to know about how this entire build works, how to use it, and now it's just putting it into practice. It is something that you're going to have to get used to, but once you do and you start seeing that damage, it's so hard to walk into any other build. Like, I love to use my Frost build. I have a Poison build that I'm about to show you guys soon, maybe in the next couple of days. But I always come back to this just because when I start slapping the hell out of enemies and they just die instantly with all the different skills and spells at my disposal, yeah, it just feels good. Now, you're going to get the Golden Loong Staff from Yellow Long himself. That is the Waterfall questline. I have the first guide on the channel here that's going to show you how to go ahead and beat down Red Long and Black Long in chapter 1 and chapter 2. From which point you're then going to go to chapter 3. And just before you fight, what's her name? Hold on, I have a weapon named after her. Once you fight Kang Jing, then in the Kang Jing area, if you walk all the way over towards the edge, so if you're standing at the shrine and you go south from the shrine, you're going to see a dragon over there fishing. Go ahead and beat that man up. Once you beat him up, that's going to be the 3rd long. And then finally, when you get to chapter 4, you're going to want to go to the Yellow Long's location, and then you will be able to get this staff. The Wind Tamer, you can get that in chapter 2. Daoist, you get this, of course, in chapter 2. See No Evil. So this is a special drop. I have a full guide on all the different special drops that you're going to be able to receive in this game coming real soon. But here's a sneak peek. You can actually fight the monks that have their eyes blindfolded over in the Thunderclap area, the temple. Just go over there, fight them, and you might get lucky and get this to drop. If you're having troubles with it dropping, then try to go ahead and pull out the golden carp after you beat Yellow Long so that you can get a little bit of a better chance to get these to drop for you after defeating an enemy. From then, The Tiger Tally, this is given to you from the Tiger Vanguard in Chapter 2. The Beast Buddha is also another special item you can get in Thunderclap Valley. In Thunderclap Temple. I have 2 of them because of those crits. These greatly increase your crit hit damage, and when you're slapping for some huge crits, it feels good. When it comes to our gourd and our drink, I mix this up a lot. It depends on my mood and it depends on what I'm doing. You can pick whichever gourd works for you. It's completely up to you, but the drinks are a little bit of a different story. So the drinks in this game, you kind of want to be careful with what you're using and when you use it. I like to use the Jade Essence. This has 2 slots. It gives you 36% health back, and it gives you a moderate amount of mana. Now that moderate amount of mana that it gives you is not that good, but if you combine this with the Celestial Lotus Seed, then that turns into a considerable amount of mana, and that's a lot. So mixing and matching these to make them work for you is the best bet. And then your second soak is going to be anything that you want. So if you want some more damage reduction, the Laurel Buds. If you want a little bit of extra health, the Goat Skull. I've been able to get a lot of these from Chapter 2. Just go out and farm a bunch of the ingredients out in the world and you'll be able to pick this up. If you want some more defense, you can do the Tender Jade Lotus. And if you want to be able to guarantee that you can throw back that gourd no matter what and not be interrupted, then you want the Iron Pellet. So let's reread this. The Iron Pellet will allow you to not be interrupted. It doesn't make you invincible, but it does give you a considerable amount of damage reduction, so it is useful. Now, another drink that I like to slowly go into from time to time is this one, the Sunset of the Nine Skies. Now, this one is really nice because each sip recovers 35% of max HP, and you get a considerable amount of ki back, meaning that you can always keep up Daoist, which is kind of OP. You'll be chucking back your gourd a lot, especially in Chapter 4 and 5, because you'll often find yourself surrounded by a bunch of spirits that you can seal away and get your health back. So there's really no downside to it. And these 2 are just the main 2 that I always go to. So that's going to be your gourd, your equipment, your weapons, all of your Kuros. And last but not least, don't forget about your medicines. The Long Aura Amplification Pellet is the best thing in the game. I have a full guide right here. You can go ahead and click on that so you can learn everything you need to know about it. And when you pop this thing, whatever you popped it at, if you have Daoist on the same field as that, it's gonna die extremely quickly. That's just facts. It's super easy to kill anything with that. Okay, for the rest of the guide, I'm actually going to show you the Yellow Long fight and just explain it to you. So if you've been looking for this, here's your video. This is going to give you everything you need to know. I'm going to show you the fight the way that I did it straight up, and then I'm going to explain a whole bunch of tips and tricks and a bunch of things that you need to know to probably get you through it a lot easier. So hopefully you enjoy the video, but let's get into the relic. We have Keen Insight, considerably increases crit hit damage. We have the Whistling Wind. It temporarily increases attack after a perfect dodge. So this is really important. There's another gear set that I can use that really feeds off of this a lot more. The Lingering Aroma, gaining a moderate damage bonus for a short time after casting a spell. And you're going to be casting a spell a lot. Now, I don't think this stacks. So if I went and did Strand, and then right after Strand I did Immobilization, and right after that I went and did, you know, Rock Solid or something like that. I don't think they stack on top of each other. I think if you use a spell, then after you have a little bit of a buff and then it falls off, kind of like that sort of thing. Then finally, this is just for, you know, AoE and crowd control. We have Spread the Word, so we can immobilize absolutely everybody on the field if we need to. And that's going to be the way this build works. Not only am I going to show you bosses, but I'm also going to show you where the equipment is towards the end of the video. So if you found this video helpful so far, I would really appreciate it if you smash that like button for me and sub to the channel so that you don't miss out on more builds just like this one. So without further ado, let's go to Yellow Long. All right, so a couple of things about the Yellow Long fight. I did practice learning every single last one of his dodges for at least 30 minutes to an hour before I even tried to take him out, because I like to learn my bosses before I kill him. But that being said, I come in with Immobilization, so I'm aggressive. And then I instantly go in with the strands, and right behind that, while I'm still throwing out the strands, I automatically switch over to the Umbral Abyss. With that being said, with all of that damage already out there, I know that I don't need Daoist out on the floor until he's going into his third phase. He has 3 phases. The first phase is when he just jumps at you and then he swipes. The second phase, he'll jump, swipe, and then he follows up with like this little charge. And in the third phase, he's going to constantly continue charging until he stops eventually, which is super annoying. So I hate that phase. And also his little jump thing that he does, if he turns into a dragon and he starts trying to fly across the screen and then slam down on you, in the third phase, he's going to slam down about 3 to 4 times. And that is just a headache to deal with. So what I like to do is I burn through all of his health all the way till about the 40% range, at which point I throw down Immobilization, I pull out Daoist, and then I just take this man's life. The thing about him is he doesn't like being seen through. So what that means is if you use the smash attack on him, it's going to literally stun the hell out of him. And that's something that I use to my advantage. So when I have at least 2 to 3 and I have him in an opening, not when he's on a counter, then I slap him super hard for some big damage. But if he's on a counter, he's going to do that right there. He's going to be able to just flick you away and it does no damage whatsoever. It's super annoying. So make sure he's not on the counter. And just before he turns into his little lightning dragon, you want to use your wind tamer to stop him. Hit him with that stun, knock him back a little bit, and then wait for your opening. Daoist is going to remain on the field until he's dead, and he's definitely going to die pretty soon. When you slap him with at least 3 focus points, yeah, he's not going to survive that. Now, if I would have had his own staff when fighting him, then he would have died that much quicker. But that can't be the case, because then we would just be OP, right? But that's going to be pretty much it for the Yellow Long guide. It's super quick, super easy, and it's not as bad as it may seem, but I'll slow it down a little bit. So he's very aggressive. So what I like to do is I come in with more aggression by immobilizing him first and then following up with some type of extra attack. Usually throwing out clones and allowing them to just completely destroy as much health as humanly possible, and being close by them and being with them in that fray is the best idea because everybody's damage is being boosted. Now, with that being said, you instantly want to go into the Umbral Abyss, because when you use Umbral Abyss, you're trying to get to Cold Heart. You want to try to freeze him solid so that he can't go anywhere, and then you and your clones can just lay it in on him. Cloud Step is going to be your get out of jail free card. So if he gets you into a bad situation, or if he starts to do his little flying dragon thing where he flies up and he charges, you might want to Cloud Step out of that just to guarantee that you don't die. But be mindful of your mana. You don't want to run out of mana before you use Immobilization and pull out Daoist, because Daoist is just going to completely destroy this man. Now you can come in with my Frost build and that might be able to take this guy out a lot quicker. The only issue with that is you would have had to pick up all the utilities and the spirits in order for that build to be liable, and you won't have the staff that you need that's going to put out that extra damage on Yellow Long. So you're at a little bit of a disadvantage. The thing about that build is it's actually using the Golden Loong Staff. So if you're not using the Golden Loong Staff, you can't slap for that dragon 3 focus pillar damage. You're going to have to go with whatever else is in your arsenal. So you might not be putting out as much DPS as you should. That's just some things to be mindful of when you're trying to take this guy out. But don't worry, you got this. Be calm, be relaxed, and make sure you're using Cloud Step as a get out of jail rather than using it for just smashing out DPS, because Immobilization is going to handle that for you as well as your clones. Be mindful where your mana is, and if you have one of those drinks like the Jade Essence, then you'll be able to keep your mana up as well as your health at the same time, which will keep you pretty safe for the entire fight. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, go ahead and smash the like button for me. But that's going to be all for today. Now for the rest of the guide, I'm going to teach you where you can get these items. So see you in the next part. All right, guys, we're back at it. So with that being said, the Golden Loong Staff. You're first going to have to go and watch this video here so you can go through the Waterfall 1 and Waterfall 2. Then what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and put your Incense Trail talisman over in your D-pad slot so we can move around a lot quicker. Okay, when you're over here on Turtle Island, you want to turn around and you want to run towards the shore. Right back here is going to be a dragon that's chilling right over here next to this tree, and he's going to be fishing. If you have already unlocked the long quest line, then you're going to hear the narrator start talking to you. He should literally be sitting right here. You're going to mess up his entire day. He's going to start fighting you. You beat him down here, and you're good to go. Okay then, this is the Cliff of Oblivion. You want to run over here to the left. This is the main story path. You got to be careful. If you go the wrong way, you're going to go straight towards the boss and you're going to miss out. But you're going to see a hand in front of you right up here. You're going to run across that hand. There's going to be a cutscene here as well. Once you finish the cutscene and you run across this hand, over there to the left is going to be an upgrade item. So make sure you run up there and go get it. All right. At which point we're going to jump down. And then from here, there's a certain path we want to try to get to, and it's going to be a path with a bridge. Now that is going to be the main story path, but what we're trying to go to is going to be a bridge. So what we're going to do is we're going to run around the back over here, jump down right here, and run across this bridge. Once you run across the bridge, you're going to have a couple of enemies waking up over here to the left and right. Don't worry about them. Just keep it moving. And up here, you're going to wait till you get all the way to the edge and then use your Cloud Step. Cloud Step past all those enemies right there so that they don't bother you. Continue on past that guy right there. And then we're good to go. You're in the area where Yellow Long is waiting for you. Go ahead and grab whatever you need. You can fight these enemies if you want to. I try to avoid them. But once you run all the way around the corner, all the way over here, you're going to see the shrine coming straight up in front of you. You should also hear the narrator at this point. And this is going to be the shrine, the relief of the fallen Long. Congratulations, now that you're here, you're going to go ahead over here to the right. There's the gazebo or the pavilion, whatever you like to call it. You're going to fight him here, beat him down, and get your materials. I think I had to also beat Chapter 4 boss in order to get the Celestial Ribbon so that I was able to craft the weapon anyway. But this is going to be half the battle. I hope you found this helpful, and good luck. Okay then. This guy right here, he is going to drop the Beast Buddha. So you could take him out to go ahead and get that. These monks right here will give you the See No Evil. Alright, so now that you have the See No Evil and you have your Beast Buddha, you're pretty much good to go. Tiger Tally, you can receive that from the Tiger Vanguard. This one you receive from Long. This one you're going to receive from Chapter 2. This is also Chapter 2. So this video is a hell of a lot longer than I expected, but that's okay. As far as the drinks are concerned, don't worry, I got you. This video right here is going to explain everything that you need to know. It's short and sweet. It's also going to teach you about the medicine that I was talking about earlier, the LAAP. That's the most powerful thing in the game. Add it with this, you'll break the game even further. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and peep this video. But I'll see you guys in the next one. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is your boy MMCSHD. For now though, I'm out of here.